everyone, so welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a pretty simple and straightforward one for once. Today I'm going to be doing an updated hamster diet video. Well, not really a hamster diet video even, just what I feed my hamsters. My last video on this topic is well over a year old at this point, I think. It's pretty old, and it was super complicated and unnecessary, I mean, not really unnecessary because it's still a valid diet. Like, it's not a bad diet. I just don't find it necessary to have as many foods in my mix as I used to, because now I use a food that has a good variety in it already. So without further ado, let's just get into it. For my two hamsters, I feed both a seed mix and a lab block. I find that this is the best combination for my hamsters. I've always combined seed mix and lab block. I don't like the idea of feeding one without the other. So previously I used to use a bunch of different seed mixes mixed together, but I find that at this point the one I'm using has a good enough variety. It has 17 different whole ingredients, I believe, and that is the Higgins Sunburst, and this is the gourmet blend, assorted fruits and vegetables, hamster and gerbil, and the guaranteed analysis is on the back there. So I love this food for my hamsters, and my hamsters seem to enjoy it, both my dwarf and my Syrian. I don't have any issues with them rejecting parts of it, which is great. So that's what I use for a seed mix. I only use that one food now instead of a mix of a bunch of different foods. There's nothing wrong with mixing a bunch of different foods. I just found that it was becoming, one, more than I could store, and two, becoming such a big commitment every time they ran out to buy that many bags of food over and over and over again. So instead of going to the effort of mixing a food for them, I decided to switch to a food that is good on its own. The reason I wasn't feeding this before is because this food is harder for me to get my hands on, because the Petcos around me, which is who sells this food, they have little to no small pet sections in them, but we did find a Petco that's about a half-hour away that has a very large small pet section. That's where we got Gimli from. So whenever I run out, which isn't that frequently, we can just run in there, or I can order it online, which I don't generally like to do, but for one bag of food, I will make the sacrifice. And then for the lab block, I use Missouri Rat and Mouse, and here's the guaranteed analysis on that as well. This one is really high in protein, which is great, except for in older males. So as Gimli gets a little bit older, I'm going to be switching him to the Harlan Techland brand, which has a slightly lower protein content, just so it's not as hard on his liver. But yeah, for the foreseeable future, those are the two foods that I'm going to be using for my hamsters. It is not a very complicated diet at all, which is great, and they both seem to really enjoy it, which is also great, because that means that I don't have them rejecting a bunch of foods all the time. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I will leave a link in the description to the Hamster Hideout commercial food list. If you can't happen to get your hands on either of these foods, there are other foods that can be suitable for your hamster, so I will leave that link down below if you want to check it out. It is a very detailed list that has all the ingredients broken down for you on a bunch of different hamster commercial foods, and it's a great resource to have even if you're happy with your hamster's diet. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you all in my next video. Bye!